Welcome to Mike Brown Barbecue. Today I'm going to show you how to make smoked homemade ham from start to finish on this 250-gallon offset smoker. Stay tuned. Alright folks, now it's time to do the brine for the pork loin ham. We're going to go with 44 grams of pickling spice. Let it get warm and toasty on the bottom of that pan and kind of release them aromatics. When you really start to smell those aromatics as you're heating them up, that's how you know you got them started going real good, and these are smelling real good. I'm gonna go ahead and add my water here, just like with the pork butt. 3/4 of a gallon of water I'm putting in here. Next up will be our salt, along with our curing salt. Next up, we'll add 2 pounds of sugar. Stir it up, and we'll heat this up till it dissolves. I will have the links down for these recipes in the description, how I'm brining these. It's the first time I've ever made homemade ham. I've done a lot of research on YouTube and came up with the recipes that I got. Alright guys, well I'm gonna let this simmer down, let all the salts and sugars dissolve, and the next time y'all see me is when we put our pork loin in the brine. Alright guys, so what I got right here is a full pork loin, all natural. So we've got the water in here. Now it's time to add this water in there, our hot water with our brine. And these things, they float. There's 2 ways you can combat the floating here. You can put a plate on top of this to sink it, or you can flip it halfway through. I anticipate this brine right here, this pork loin, to brine in about 3 days, maybe 4. So the good thing about leaving this whole is on the 3rd day I come in here and I can cut this in half and see if my brine penetrated or not. Alright folks, so we'll come back to this in 4 days and it'll be cured. Y'all stay tuned. Alright guys, so it's been 5 days. I said I was going to let this pork loin go for 3 days, but I ended up letting it go for 5 days. I could tell that it is cured. The meat is firmed up real good. It's not soft no more. So the next step of this is I'm going to take this out of the brine and I'm going to cut it in half. So we'll kind of straighten it back out. It's very firm. I'm going to eyeball this and cut it about right here. So what I'm actually seeing right here is just a little bit of gray right there. I don't know if it shows up real good on camera. So this needs to go back in the brine. So what I'm going to do is put this in the brine where my pork butt is and let it go for 1 more day, and it should be good. If you're out there and you're a beginner and you're wanting a brine, basic knowledge told me that, based off the research that I did, that 5 days was going to be enough for this. I don't know if you can see it real good on camera or not, but there's a little bit of a gray spot right here. This thing needs to brine for 1 more day. So I'm going to put this back in the brine, and then we'll take it out tomorrow. Y'all stay tuned. Well, this is my next little trick right here, is I like to put those hams in fresh water, and I'll let them sit there and soak for about 5 minutes. What this does is it'll draw the excess salt out of the exterior, and your ham won't be as salty. Alright, so the pork loins have soaked as long as I want them to. At this point, I like to take them out and put them down here on this wire rack, and I can see this one right here. It's got a bunch of excess flap on it. I'm just going to take a pair of shearing scissors and take that down a little bit. And I'll leave that in here off to the side. I'll cook that for a little snack. And a little mistake that I'm already making is I want to put this meat side up, just like this. That way you can dry out while it's in here. Because while it's drying out, it'll form a pellicle. That pellicle will help the smoke adhere to it. And now what I'll do with this is put this in my refrigerator for the next 24 hours and let the exterior dry out. Same with the pork butt. Next time you guys see me and these hams is when we do our cold smoke. Alright folks, stay tuned. It's the next morning. It's time to cold smoke these hams. And this is what the pork loins is looking like. They're looking real nice. Smell great. Got a pellicle form. A pellicle is when the meat dries out and it gets kind of a sticky surface. So we've achieved that. The smoke will stick to that. So that's what the pork loins are looking like. So let's throw these things on the pit. So the pork loins, the smaller the meat, I'm going to put them closer to the door where it's cooler right here. And the pork butt, I'm going to face the bone toward the firebox right back here. That's how I'm going to do these meats, and we're going to put meat probes in them. All right, so we got those put on. We got the probes in them. So we got those all set to 150 internal temp. That's where I want to bring these two on this initial cold smoke. I won't run the smoke quite like I do a sausage smoke. It'll be just a tad bit hotter. We'll be running internal temp of 160, 170, trying to get these smoked in anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, or till I like the color on them. So we'll shut this down and let's go build us a cold smoke fire. All right, for our cold smoke fire, we're just gonna go in with a full chimney full of lump charcoal, a little small coal bed. I will not burn down a coal bed for this. This is all it's gonna get. I got one dense piece of red oak right here that's really heavy. I guarantee you this is probably about 35–30% in moisture. It's heavy for its weight. We'll put it in right here with the bark on the inside. You'll go right there. And then since it's cool outside here in East Texas this morning, since it's only 50 degrees out this morning, I'm going to put one log right here and the other one right there. And that's going to provide me all the smoke that I need for this cold smoke. So for now, I'll take this and shut it down to about 2 inches, 3 inches open. And at this point of the cook of the cold smoke is when I want to throw a bunch of dirty smoke on it. You can't overdo the ham. This is not like sausage, so you can't flog it with too much, but you can flog it with just enough to achieve your pit temp. We're going to run this 150 to 160 for the first 3 to 4 hours, and then we'll probably crank up 200 to get it up to that 150 mark. So with the lighting the way it is, I don't know if you can see that real good, but that's the kind of smoke that I'm going to roll with. Not quite as heavy as my sausage smoke, but heavier than my typical smoke. And pit tips are below 50. When you're cold smoking something like this, you want that true cold smoke hitting it. So this temp will come up the pit gradually, and it'll be probably about an hour, maybe 2 hours before I actually hit 150, 160 on that pit. But it don't matter because our meat is cured. So since our meat's cured, we can take our time bringing this up, and we don't have to worry about no botulism or anything like that. So next time you guys see me will be the 2 hour mark. We'll open that up and we'll take a peek, or when we manage that fire. Stay tuned. Look at all that good smoke. That is exactly what you want right there. But anyway, guys, we're roughly an hour into this cold smoke. But that's about as high as my heat has been able to get, 125. It's time to go throw us a little bit of kindling on the fire. So what I like to do at this point is put these small split up pieces of red oak on there, kind of to replenish that coal bed just a little bit. Throw a piece right there. Throw a piece right there. But I like putting these little splits on right here because they'll help replenish the coal bed and give you a little bit more heat. And as that denture wood dries out, it'll help it burn down a little bit. This is just the way that I like to do my cold smoking. So we're an hour into this cook, and this is going to help bring me up to the 150. At the 2 hour mark, we'll open the lid up and I'll show you guys what it's looking like. Stay Alright guys, so we're at the 2 hour mark, just a little bit past it. I'm at the 2 hour mark. That's our internal temps. We got 48 degrees on the pork butt, which is to be expected. It's way bigger. 87 on one pork loin and 81 on the other. So that's smoking down somewhat even. So let's open them up and see what they're looking like. And they're not looking bad. They're taking on a little bit of color. Some moisture still drawing out. That comes with the cold smoke. But they're not looking bad. I'm about to throw some more smoke on them, get the fire a little bit dirtier, give them some more color. But the moisture's still drawing out of them. And I normally wouldn't open this lid for about 4 or 5 hours, but since this is a how-to video, I'm going to do it every 2 hours and show you guys the product and how it's coming along. So we're going to close this door down and we're going to go back here and manage this fire to make it smokier. Alright folks, so let's see what we got on our fire here. So that little kindling we put in there is burned up. Typically what I like to do at this point in the cold smoke is roll these logs horizontally. Just like this. Clean the front out and let it breathe just a little bit. And then at this point, I'm going to take another dense barky log and I'm going to put the bark down right there on top of that. That's going to make for a smokier fire and give me what I want for those hams. We just looked at them. They still need a little color, but they're in the process where the moisture's still drawing out of the skin. So they won't take no good color on until the moisture is drawn out of the meat. But at this point, we've gone 2 hours and we put a bunch of cold smoke on them. We're going to crank this heat up to about 175 to 160 and kind of speed the process up a little bit more and get them cooking. The pork loins, I'm not too worried about. They're going to take as long as they take to get smoked down. The pork butt ham is the one that I'm going to bring up gradually, and then the pork loins will just finish up when they finish up. I'm going to go ahead and crack this door down a little bit. About 4 inches, and I'll bring you guys back here in a little bit. Alright, so we just managed that fire about 5 minutes ago, and we got us some good dense smoke going. That's what I want, but that smoke is going to clean up as the fire burns on. So this will help you give them hams some real good color, but this is also how you get that real good smoke flavor in your ham when you're running the smoke that dirty like that. And I say it's dirty, but it's not really dirty. You see how fast the smoke is coming out of the stack? It's got plenty of airflow. If it was coming out real slow and bellowing, then that would be really a dirty smoke. But since that's got good airflow, it's coming through there, it's blasting them hams with all this nice smoke and gonna give them some real good flavor. And we're rocking 150 on our temp gauge, and I'll keep an eye on this. I don't want it to go no higher than 275 at this point to cook. So like I said, we just managed that fire about 10 minutes ago, and I wanted to bring you guys in and show you this. Stay. Alright folks, so we are officially at the 4 hour mark. I'll bring you guys in here and show you what these are looking like. Our internal temps are sitting at 82 in the pork butt, 108 and 109 in the pork loin. So those are caught up to each other and are cooking pretty even now. So let's see what they're looking like. Let the smoke clear out a minute. And they are looking nice. They're looking good. I'll bring y'all in, try to get you a close up. They're starting to get some good mahogany color to them, especially the pork butt back there. It's looking real nice. That's what those are looking like right there. You can see they're starting to get a deeper red color on them, which is what you want. Pick them up a little bit. Sometimes they'll stick to them racks. Ooh, they smell nice too. Got that good ham smell to them. And that's our pork butt back there. You can see how it's looking. And yeah, these are looking real nice. Got good color on them. That's how they're supposed to be looking at this point in the cook. So we're going to get this shut back down. We'll go back here and manage the fire. Now, since we're at this 4-hour mark and I'm starting to get the color that I like, I'm going to keep my heat at a minimum of 175 to 200 degrees at this point. Mainly because the pork butt's going to take a while to smoke, and we'll get these pork loins up to temp. So let's go manage that fire. Stay tuned. Alright folks, so let's see how our fire is looking for this cold smoke. 4-hour mark. Both of those channel logs have about smoldered out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this dude forward for a minute. Just like that. And smash these up into our new coal bed. I'm going to roll this dude. He's going to go right here. And I got this little piece right here that's not quite burned up yet. I'm going to put him in the middle. Clean the front of this out a little bit where some airflow can get in there. And then we're going to go on with 2 logs. I'm going to put a real dense log on this side over here. Just like that. And then I'm going to put a barky log down right there in the middle on top and close that down to about 1 inch. And that right there will last me probably 2 hours, maybe a little bit longer, and put that dirty smoke on there that I'm looking for. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'll bring y'all back here in a little while. Stay. Alright guys, so we're at the 5-hour mark of the cold smoke. We're sitting right on 200 degrees, which is the max temperature I want to be at. Right. The pork butt's sitting at 96 degrees, and the pork loins are both, one sitting 121 and one sitting at 118. So those are coming along nicely. The pork loin will probably finish up in the next 2 hours, and the pork butt's going to go probably close to 8 to 9 hours. But I am going to crank the heat up when we get to our next 2-hour mark. I'll share that to y'all when we get there. But I'll bring you back here and show you what kind of fire I'm running. That's the smoke we got coming up there. It is kind of cleaned up a little bit because the wood's done burnt down some. Alright, so you see I got my door cracked probably about 1 inch. Give you a little peek of this fire right here. It's smoldering and burning real slow. And that's what you want for these cold smokes. So I'm not going to keep this open very long because this thing will start to burn faster. I want to keep it right there where I've been at. So the 5-hour mark, folks, on the cold smoke. I'll bring you back again in 6 hours. I'll open it up, see what everything's looking like. Stay tuned. Alright folks, let's see what this fire is looking like. And it's burnt down pretty darn good. So like I said, I'm going to do again what I did on the last one. I'm going to roll this log over here. Onto this side. This little piece that ain't quite burned up yet. I'll go in the middle. Steal some coals off of this side over here. Put them over there. Gonna roll that up on there. I'm gonna space these logs a little far apart. And I'm gonna go back to my 4-log setup. Because I've done got the color I want on this, and I've got the smoke level that I want on it. So we're gonna close that down to about 1 inch. And let it do its thing. And I'll keep an eye on these temps at this point. I want them to run 225 to 200. So, and bring that pork butt up to an internal temp of 150 and then pork loins. So, I will bring you guys back when them pork loins finish up. And then we'll see how everything looks at that point. Alright guys, instead of pulling these at 150 like I said I was going to, I didn't want them to get no darker than this, so I pulled them at 145, which is still done for pork. And as you can see, it's looking real nice. Got a nice deep mahogany color. Not too dark, but not too light. So what I'm going to do with these at this point, shock them in an ice bath. What you want to do with ham is just like the same thing you do with sausage. You shock it in an ice bath and stop the cooking process. This will help that smoke color get deeper, and everything will look real good, and it'll stop the cooking process. Let it sit in there for a minute, and then from here it'll go in the refrigerator, and it will sit in the refrigerator all night uncovered. After this, the next morning you could take it, vacuum seal it, and save it up for Thanksgiving here in a few weeks. But I'm gonna save one, and I'm gonna finish one out smoking it. Just like that, folks. That's all you gotta do with it. This washes any excess discoloration from the smoke off and stops the cooking process. So the next time you see these hams is when we do the hot smoke on them tomorrow. Stay Alright guys, tuned. So these are rested in the fridge overnight for 16 hours, and you can see that deep red color they got. They look real good. I'm shocking them in that ice bath and then letting them sit in the refrigerator overnight. They look real nice. That's how they're supposed to look. Pork butt, it's got good color to it also. Good smoke color. When I go to smoke these again here in just a minute, I want to bring this to 160, and I want to bring this pork butt to 180 for slicing, and if I want to do a pulled pork ham sandwich. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Alright folks, so here's the final product on our pork loin ham. It got a little bit darker than I would have liked, but that's what happens when you double smoke. So we'll start right here from this end. Take us some slices. And it looks like we got a good cure all the way through that. Look how juicy. That's the advantage of a dry brine versus a wet brine, is that meat comes out so juicy. That pork loin is super juicy. So let's try it out. Alright guys, so let's give this a try. And as you can see how good that looks, and all the juice dripping out of that. So here's the moment of truth. Well, that's not too bad, folks. It's definitely cured. Got a hammy taste to it. First time I've ever made ham, so not too bad. Here's the end cut right here. Get all the juice in that. Let's give this one a try. Well, folks, I think that was a success for my first time making ham. I think next time, though, I'll do what a lot of other websites and pages said to do is inject some of that solution down in there to get that ham flavor a little bit more pronounced in there. I mean, it's there, but it's not as strong as I would like it, but still very, very good. I mean, you can look at it, you can tell that it's cured. It's got a pink color all the way through. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Well, guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe.